Okay, folks, so just a real quick down and dirty on what's been going on with the food dehydrator, the recycled refrigerator that we're using. What I did is I took out all the mechanics, which came apart real easy. I think it was a 8 or a 10 millimeter socket screwdriver. I took the whole thing apart with. The only thing I had a little problem with, just a little frustration, was getting the wires through this big hole in the back. I just basically peeled some of that stuff away, stuck some vice grips in there, and pulled that big knot out, and the wires came out. So after taking out the mechanics, we had the plastic to deal with on the inside. We don't want that on the inside because we'll be putting a heating element in here, and we don't want to release PCBs into the air when heating that plastic. So we took that out. And then we found this blown insulation behind it. Now, not so much blown, but it goes in wet, and it molded with the plastic lining that you slip your shelves into. So we snapped that stuff off, the rough stuff, and then I took a little bit further and took a 6 to 10 inch. It's a 10-inch disc sander. You could do it by hand if you wanted to, and I sanded everything nice and smooth, somewhat level. It was a mess. A mixture and wear a respirator for that. After that, what I did is I could have ripped a bunch of 2x4s, but I didn't want to. I went to a hardware store and got a bundle of fir trim. And I got a big old bundle of these, and they're all the same height, same width, and everything else. That's a scrap that I had before. And $13, you get like about 50 of them or so, and that's going to be more than enough to frame this out. And basically, that's what you can see here is just rough framing this out for me to hang my reflective material. Now, one thing I should mention is I use liquid nails to secure these fir strips to the foam. I use liquid nails because it's chemically, it's one of the adhesives that are able to be used without eating this foam away when you try to secure it. So liquid nails is compatible there. Now I was going to go with the Baca board, which is banana bark strips woven together. It's really pretty. I found some that was all natural and not treated with fire retardant. $30 a sheet. I thought it was a pretty good deal, but at the same time, this is a recycle project, so I wanted to try to stick with that theme and keep the budget as low as possible. So with that, I started thinking about metal. I don't have a lot of metal around the house. Most people don't. But I guess surprisingly, we actually do. Now these I didn't use from my own recycling. You can use, big ravioli cans, tomato cans, stuff like that. And what I did here is I went to a pizza shop and I asked them for their cans. Go to a small pizza shop where they make their own sauce. The big pizza places, they get all their sauce in bags because they get national pricing. Go to the local mom and pop pizza shops where they make their own sauce. The one I found, it was great. They already had the bottoms taken out of it, and they were already rinsed out 95%. So, I just rinsed them out some more in some bleach water and cut them down the seam and flattened them out with a mallet and rivet them here. And just used a $10 rivet gun and just use any old rivets of your choosing, really. These are aluminum rivets. They're cheaper than the steel rivets, and they'll hold up just fine. Now, the way I riveted these together was like tiles. So this end will be up, and this is for drippage when you're dehydrating your vegetables and meats and what have you. We don't want stuff getting down in there as it drips. And this is also really nice because it's corrugated. We know it's food safe. That corrugation will help reflect heat back even more. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make my bends. This is long enough for the whole face, for the whole back, that step, and the floor. So I'm going to make my bends now. and secure this. And one other thing I should mention is that I'll also be using actual duct tape. It's aluminum tape, and you can find this at discount stores and stuff as well that sell hardware. A lot cheaper than your major chain hardware stores, I guess. Excuse me. I'm going to use that to seal up the back so we're not losing heat in between our panel and the insulation. So I'm going to make my bends here and set a couple more pieces of framing in here, and I'll catch back up with you and show you how things are going. Thanks for watching.